All right, everybody. Let's see what we've got in store here on our vintage games. Chances are it's either NES or Atari, because that's what we get a lot of. Haha. Called it. Called it. But anyway, let's play some Batman, the video game, on the Nintendo Entertainment System. Here we go. Alright, so here we have Sunsoft's Batman from 1989. And those of you who were around at the time will remember there was a massive uptick in interest in Batman in the late 80s, early 90s because of the new Batman movies that were coming out. We're talking about the ones that had Michael Keaton as Batman. He was an excellent Batman. Many times I feel like we focus too much on the more recent Batmans, and we forget that Michael Keaton was an excellent, excellent Batman. Anyway, so everybody was crazy about Batman at the time, and a whole bunch of Batman stuff came out, bunch of Batman video games and whatnot. This is one of them, and here's what I feel when I play this game, is that at first, like, oh my goodness, you are given a visual treat, the likes of which you don't always see in NES games. You know, the title screen with the Batman standing there ominously, half covered in shadow, and then you get to see the sweet Batmobile. Like, I absolutely love the Batmobile from the late 80s, early 90s. Michael Keaton era Batman. I mean, that's what it's all about, you know, because that particular one, like, it was just long and interesting. You know, it looked like a Batmobile. You know, the thing about the Batmobile in more recent history is that it doesn't look specifically like a Batmobile. It looks like an awesome all-terrain military vehicle. Yes, that much is true. But a Batmobile, it just says Batman, because, you know, even the 1960s Adam West Batman knew that you gotta come correct with all the bat devices, bat this, bat that, bat shark repellent spray. Come on, you gotta have it. Anyway, so you start out, it's a visual feast at first, and then you hop into the game, and it's not bad. It's not bad. You know, you got your Batman sprite, you know, and he's like blue and different colored blue. And there's some bad guys that I don't recognize from the films at all, or the comics, or the years of Batman knowledge and experience that I have, you know. So, like, I know what I think Batman is like. And I know what I see when I turn on this particular Batman. And what I see when I turn on this particular Batman is it feels like Russian Attack, but with, you know, a Russian Attack ROM hack. You know, because I love me some Russian Attack. Absolutely. Like, that game was so much fun. It's so hard. Like, definitely for a, you know, run and gun beat 'em up. I mean, don't gun too much because you need to save on to that so you can use it later on. Run and knife is Russian Attack. Run and stab dudes in the chest, and then they fall backwards like they've been stabbed in the chest, and then they disappear like guys who have been stabbed in the chest. Anyway, but yeah, this game feels much more like Russian Attack or something of that nature. It feels reskinned. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know if the enemies have been reskinned at all from whatever this game originally was. Like, we all know that Nintendo games were not above like reskinning themselves and calling themselves something else. I mean, obviously Super Mario 2, the infamous Doki Doki Panic, that became Super Mario 2 here in the United States because Japan was like, oh, these Americans will never be able to handle our Super Mario 2 that is now called The Lost Levels. Yeah. So, you know, we know that games did get reskinned. We know that games, you know, started out as one thing and ended up as another. Happens all the time. Happened way more frequently back in the early days of gaming. And so is there a possibility that this was like, you know, a Bionic type Commando or a Contra-ish or a Russian Attack or, you know, some other, or a Ninja Gaiden? Or do you say Gaiden or Gaiden? I always said Gaiden. But everybody's like, no, the guy from Street Fighter, his name is not Ryu, it's Ryu, and it's not Ninja Gaiden, it's Ninja Gaiden. And I'm like, well, I bought the game, okay? Like, let me call it what I want. I paid money for it. Anyway, be that as it may. This does feel very much like a different sort of game, because here's the thing. Okay, so Batman has a few power-ups, and it's funny because they all share a common ammo pool. So you pick up ammo, that's the ammo that you get for everything, and then that ammo can be used to throw batarangs, except for they look like just regular boomerangs. It's not shaped like a bat, which is like, okay, whatever. At least, you know, there is, you know, boomerang in Batman's arsenal. We will forgive that it's not bat shaped. I mean, you got to do what you can with the pixels you got. Okay, that's number one. Number two is that he's got like a triple batarang ninja star thing, which is like, okay, maybe Batman had something like that. And then the other one is just a straight up gun. Like, wait a minute. Hold on. Now, here's the fun thing, is that if you read early Batman, we're talking the first, like, less than 20 issues of the original DC Comics appearances of Batman, back when it was just Detective Comics, and that was what Batman appeared in. He was just one of the detectives in Detective Comics. And anyway, so yeah, you read those first 20 issues or so. Batman was violent. This was before the Comics Code Authority. Dude was dropping guys on their heads out of helicopters, you know, to their death, like literally killing people. Like, Batman was not above killing people in the early days. And so, yeah, maybe if you're hearkening back to that, then Batman has a gun that he just straight up shoots bad guys with. But, you know, that has always been like, you know, because Batman's parents were gunned down by a back alley thug. And so it has always been a part of the Batman lore that, like, dude does not carry a piece. He's not toting a gun. Sure, a gun that shoots grappling hooks? Absolutely. You know, like a gun that shoots, like, you know, spy gadgetry, you know, listening, like extendable microphone stuff and whatnots, like, sure, that shoots, you know, lines for ziplining across? Absolutely. Why not? But like bullets? No. Batman does not shoot bullets at bad guys. Like, that's, I'm sorry, that's just a thing. Batman does not shoot bullets at bad guys. So, yeah, that part of it just doesn't fit with the Batman lore. And so as you're playing this game, you're like, okay, I'm Batmaning. I'm totally Batmaning. And then you stop Batmaning so well and start having troubles because the game gets very difficult very quickly. You know, I made it through to the second level. That's because before I started capturing footage, I died a whole bunch and started figuring out some enemy patterns and whatnot. And that is a very important thing. This game does bring the NES heat. And so, you know, like, if you've ever heard NES hard, like, yeah, this is what we're talking about, is that, like, just, you only have so many lives and you only have so many continues, and that's just the way it goes. You know, this holdover from arcades when they just needed people to keep pumping quarters in, you know, and it took us a long time to break away from that paradigm, but that's where we lived for a long time. And yeah, I just had a hard time staying alive, especially when I got to the boss, you know, because first of all, there's that ninja before the boss. And man, that guy's a pain. Like, he takes so much of your weaponry to take him out. And so, like, I just, because he took so much time and weaponry to take out, I get to the bossy boss man, and then clearly I need my weaponry for him, because getting a well-timed punch on this dude when he swoops down, forget about it. Like, I did it a few times, but more often than not, I just took the hit because I didn't time it out properly. So that's what you're up against in Batman, the video game, is just, you know, some really pretty hard enemies. I mean, there's a lot of pattern recognition. I did get better at the boss by the end, but, like, I also did not have the kind of ammo that I needed in order to do any kind of damage against him. And so that was very frustrating, because I know that I need to hit him like 15, 20 times. And if I can only hit him 3 times, and then the rest of the times I'm taking hits, because even though I tried to time it out just right to sock him on the nose when he comes swooping in on a jetpack, like, which obviously we all know the many infamous jetpack bound Batman villains. I mean, I'm sure that there is someone in the he had so many nemesis, so many villains, that, like, somebody had to be on a jetpack at some point. It's just, it couldn't be that Batman didn't have a jetpack enemy. But be that as it may, it's not like they're the most commonly thought of ones, you know, and, like, his other main dudes have known henchmen, you know. The Joker has henchmen. The Riddler has henchmen. Even the Penguin has henchmen. Like, everybody's got henchmen. Why not fight those henchmen? That just seems like a more logical way. So yeah, like, the game, even though it's reasonably fun and it's pretty decent in terms of NES games, like, it's not a bad game by any stretch of the imagination, but it just feels like a reskin to me. It feels like it started out life as something else. Anyway, give me a sec, I will put a final score on it. Okay, so for Batman the video game, we are going a 7 out of a possible 10 Michael Keaton Batman, because I just, you know, waxed rhapsodic about how great Michael Keaton was as a Batman. Definitely one of the most underrated Batmen. When you hear people talk about Batman, everybody's like, oh yes, the more recent Batman, you know, and everybody's like, ah, that one kid is really good at it. And that other one, who not so much. Yeah, we know. We get it. Also, I'm not remembering any actor names right now, and I'm not looking them up. You scream at your screen all you want. You know that I know which one is which, and which one we like, and which one we don't like. Yeah, I know. I get it. But, yeah. Batman the video game, 7 out of a possible 10 of the Michael Keaton types, because this is a fun game. When you get down to it, it's a fun game. Even though the Batman enemies are not, they're not really represented. I mean, eventually you do have a showdown with the Joker. I did not make it that far, obviously. So, you gotta slog through a whole lot of, dudes with guns, including Batman himself, to get to the Joker at the end. And then you can just shoot him in the face with a gun, I guess. Anyway, yeah, 7 out of 10. Not bad, not great. And that's how we feel about the Batman. Anyway, that's going to do it for this one, people. I will see you in the next one. Okay, bye.